What's up, guys? This is Gavin at Swervo Cycle, and today, if you're coming from my other video or if you read the title to this video itself, we are going to be adjusting the preload on the Geezer Engineering cartridge front end. It's the 49 mil conversion from 41 to 49 mil, and it is their 4A kit. I have this kit installed on my 07 Road Glide, and after riding, I initially set the preload at 2, and after riding pretty aggressively and putting some miles on it, I do think I'm gonna end up setting it at the 3rd setting. So I want a little bit more preload, and really you don't have to take apart all these the forks all the way. You're just going to essentially either take them off the bike or remove the wheel, the axle kit, and do them in the triple trees. I feel a little bit more comfortable taking the forks out of the bike together, throwing it in my little vise tool, clamping it down, and then popping the cap and readjusting the preload. But it's really nice. We won't have to see the window. We'll just go by the turn amount. There's a certain amount of threads that once you reach a certain amount of full rotations, it's set at that next preload level, either higher or lower, depending on if you're counterclockwise or clockwise. So let me pull these forks here real quick. I'm not really gonna tell you or show you how to do that. You should probably know how to do it if it's already on your bike. But I'm gonna get those pulled real quick, and then I'll show you how to adjust the preload while the cartridges are still in the fork legs. Alright, so this is going to be a super quick cartridge adjustment without taking the actual cartridge out of the fork. I did mess up and just filmed this adjustment vertical instead of horizontal, so I'm now going back, readjusting this cartridge. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick. Follow along with me. It's not going to be as long of a video as I was anticipating, but it's going to be just fine. And you guys are going to know how to make quick adjustments with these Geezer Engineering cartridges. So first thing you're going to want to do is honestly get your Allen, get this fork and tube in somewhere secure. Doesn't matter if it's a vise with a tool like this, or honestly you could probably do it in your triple trees if you remove the wheel and axle. But we're going to start by popping this cap loose. And I'm going to show you how to adjust the preload without actually seeing the window on these Geezer Engineering cartridges here. I'm going to apply pressure downward while I'm loosening this, just to take some of the pressure off of those threads. Once it pops, you can let it go. Once we have the cap loose from the fork tube, we are going to break this lock nut loose and keep the adjustment nut there. So we're going to want to grab the tools that should have came with the kit. And first things first, we are going to break that adjustment nut loose. And so we're going to go right on the bottom, or tighten. And then that lock nut, we're going to break loose there on top. Just like that. Once that lock nut is loose, we're going to spin it out of the way. And what I'm going to do is show you guys how to give your cartridge more preload. The first couple videos I did where I messed up the filming, I did add more preload. I'm going to show you how to add more preload, and then I'm going to back it off so it is still where I want it. But once we have this lock nut loose, we're going to grab the bottom half of this cartridge, and you're going to want to take a Sharpie, doesn't matter if it's black or silver, the silver blends in a little bit better, and you're just going to want to do a very small dot on the cap. I did have a little one there from earlier. And the way that these cartridges are set up is 4 full turns essentially is one adjustment on the preload. So depending on whether you go counterclockwise or clockwise is going to adjust the preload differently. Counterclockwise is going to give you more preload. If you were at a setting 2, it's going to go to a setting 3 if you do 4 full turns counterclockwise. Clockwise is going to be less preload. What I want to do is give this more preload, and then we'll lock it down, and then we can put it back in the bike. So I have my dot on the cap there, and we're going to go counterclockwise 4 turns. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. At this point, the adjustment should be where you want it, or it's essentially one setting of more preload. At that point, you want to spin this nut, your lock nut, down to the other nut, and we're going to get our wrenches back, and we're going to essentially lock that in its current setting. But what I have to do, since I already had that set where I wanted it, is I'm going to go clockwise 4 full turns. 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Now it's back to where I originally had it, and so I can now lock it down myself here. I'm going to grab my wrenches that Geezer should have supplied yet in that kit. And we're just going to lock this setting down here. That's nice and tight, not going anywhere. And at this point, it's time to send the cartridge back home. I'm going to apply some pressure downward, kind of taking some of that tension off of those threads, and start spinning the ratchet at the same time. Got the neighbors lighting off fireworks, and it's the second week in October. I guess the local foosball team's playing too.
Foosball? You playing the foosball behind my back?
Alright, we got that cap snug back up. I'm feeling good about it. We'll see what the third setting of preload does, but I'm going to throw these back in the triple trees, take it for a ride, and see how it feels. Thanks for sticking around for the full video.